Typically right now with the buyer, because I have a relationship with, it's no money up front. So I write in here, 0. To be paid, oh no, I take this back, sorry. This is your assignment fee. This is the sum right here. So whatever that assignment fee is, that number goes right there. To be paid, blah, blah, blah. I'll show you where this says 0. The effective date of the contract and obligations, you're going to put that date in, which would be the date of this being signed. The assignment, basically it's the contract. Everything that contract states, you're just giving to him. Assumption of the assignee, so they're taking over all the assumptions based on that. So you're completely out of the loop on that one. Number 4, this is where I created this one myself. So number 4 says, acknowledgement of receipt and promise to pay remaining balance. So, exactly right. This guy right here. So it says the assigner acknowledges that assignee has paid. So I'm saying that they've either paid me half up front, they've paid me X amount on this day, or if it's 0, they've paid me nothing on this day and will pay the remaining balance of whatever that is at closing. So that number of the assignment fee, subtracting whatever they've paid up front, that's the balance. If they paid nothing, then that's the full balance between the two. And then I have it this in bold. If assignee fails to satisfy the contract as outlined and to no fault of the seller, assignee still is responsible and agrees to pay assignor their assignment fee, and I have them initial it. So if they back out to no fault of my seller for whatever reason, the contingencies, let's say the contingencies were all met and everything, they were satisfied, and then for whatever reason they just said, I don't want this deal anymore, they're on the hook to pay me my assignment fee for this. I get paid, man. Now, I got to sue them for breach of contract and all that stuff if that's the case. But this might have more bark than it has bite, but it's in there. Because when do you get paid?
Contract is signed.
When the contract is signed, you've rendered your service. That's when the assignment should be handed over. Not at close. Close has nothing to do with it. They've already inspected the property. They've already looked at the terms of the condition. That's on them, not you. That's not your responsibility. So technically, that's why I write that in there. Never had a problem with it. I've never had a buyer not close that's committed to it. But I have that there, and they initial it, sign and date, print your name, and this goes to escrow. Along with the contract. Yep. If the contract's not already there. So for me personally, I'm trying to think if I've ever opened up escrow without having the assignment already in hand. And I haven't. I'm usually marketing that property really fast. Or like marketing that contract super fast if I don't already have a buyer. But for the most part now, I get it. Some of you are just getting started. You got to find those buyers. But once you have those buyers, man, dude, it's super simple. I got I have 4. Mainly 3. I have 3 go-to buyers no matter where on my properties here that I always will go to. Just without fail. I'll always.
Preference order? Do you know what they're looking for?
I do have a preference. One guy, I pretty much consider him a business partner from top to finish. I mean, we have breakfast every 2 weeks, and we're going over the deals that we have in the pipeline, what's coming down the pike, what we're working on, what we need to do as far as the next step. So we're very, very close knit, and basically it's come down to the point where he's like, my funds are your funds. You go commit the funds, we're closing on them. So yeah, it's a very good relationship there. Another one is, if the numbers make sense, yeah, I'll close on it. Another guy is like, he's always 50-50. Depends on what else he has going on, because he's 50-50. Yep. Cool.
Your main buyer, how many projects does he have going at a time? Does he ever get at a point where he has too much? Or?
I talked to him about that. It's one of the discussions we're currently having right now. He's backlogged on, I think, 9 properties that are just sitting there. But because of the way the market is, he's really smart. So he'll pull this inventory up, and he'll he's a licensed real estate agent. He'll just put a property out there. He's like, coming soon. This is what it is. And he usually gets it sold. He's taken some advice from me on Facebook marketing. And so he'll put our property up there. He's like, this is the property that's coming soon. It gets sold prior to him actually working the completion. So then his completion is he's just basically doing to order what the person wants. Oh, if you just change this, this, and that, I'll buy that house. So instead of him guessing what a buyer wants, isn't this exactly what we're doing? Instead of us guessing what a buyer wants, We just go and bring what the buyer wants and say, hey, I got another property for you based on what you're looking for. That's exactly what he does.
You can also put that into, build that into your website that you have, or could create, as a buyer on a buyer list.
Yeah. Yeah. So eventually, I plan to get my license because I can then scale this thing to a huge, huge level
With your license?
with my license. Because then I can start representing buyers and sellers on my website, like you just said. But for the time being, I don't need to do that to do what I'm doing.
I know Alexis hits hard on that all the time. Get your license.
Alexis hits hard on it for two reasons. Alexis is a broker, and she's looking for agents to go under her. And the other reason is the law in California says if you're going to do more than 7 transactions, your principal transactions, you're now in the business of doing real estate. You need to be licensed to do that. And those assignment fees need to go through your brokerage. So, all right. So that's the assignment.
And that's only for wholesale.
That's only for wholesale, yeah. Which is a small fraction of my business. Yep.
Well, that's only.
It's
Yeah, only wholesale, man.
the other day when I looked at one of the houses, that one that was posted on Winding Way,
Yes.
the real estate agent was there, and she's got her card, real estate agent, and everything. She said it was a wholesale for her. Can she do that?
Yes.
Does she have to still run it through a broker?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the agent's name?
It's in the card.
Your dad's your broker, right? Eventually, you're going to become your own broker.
So what's the difference? You have your license, right?
He does, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? You have your real estate license, right? So what's, I have a friend of mine who has a broker license too, and real estate and all that crap. What's the difference between the broker and the real estate?
And the agent?
Yeah, or agent and broker.
So it's kind of like an apprenticeship. The broker is responsible for everything that the agents do, everything. They have to check all their contracts. They are the responsible party.
Okay, so that's the only difference between the two?
Well, that's the biggest thing, is you're a
The chief.
student of this broker, or
Okay.
you work under them. Everything you do goes through them. They get paid, and then once they check your paperwork, they issue you a check. That's your first step.
Yeah.
You go a couple of years.
You know, another thing too, Gary, is comfort-wise. If you're confident on your numbers and you know that you have buyers that will buy the property at the price that you're getting, just do a double close.
Sure, double closes.
Or close it and then market the property that way as well. Use transactional funding.
Yeah.
Hold it for more than a day.
Well, and that, the first thing that comes to mind is that never close a deal advice that you got.
Yeah, never close it until you know you have it. But yeah, that's why I never.
So,
Yeah.
there's one of the reasons why probably you haven't seen me take off as much
Mhm.
is these roadblocks.
Yeah.
That I don't understand. That's why I asked you, do you have knowledge about this? Because for me, I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely.
So it stopped me from doing some things
I.
where, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to actually pulling the law up and reading it.
Yeah, I tried to look at it for a minute, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, what it actually says.
Well, there's a couple things that are involved. It's not just the real estate law, but there's also some IRS stuff and there's some other parts.
Yeah.
So I kinda gotta dig through all that, and I've been trying to find someone who knows, and I don't know anybody who knows.
Alexis does. But she's a broker though too.
Well, that would make sense, but I haven't really been able to talk to her.
Yeah, she's kind of.
She's-
Yeah.
She's got a pretty good barrier.
She does.
Around her, and she's not super accessible.
Unless you're gonna pay her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
unless you
yeah.
Put up a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Well, why not just hire an attorney at that point?
No, fair enough.
So, and not to be mean to her, she has every right to do that.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, we all do. So okay. You guys all understand the dilemma that he faces as a licensed agent, correct? Versus what we can do.
No.
No. Okay. The dilemma.
He's bound because he's got a license, obviously, you have more, he has more responsibility.
Restrictions.
Well, he could lose his
They hold-
license and be fined.
Liability.
They hold me out as a professional.
Yep.
That should know all the rules. And so if I do a mistake, you know, and harm somebody, my liability is way more than yours. So I have to.
But you also have a lot more flexibility than we do as well. You can go and wholesale a property
There's other things.
and
that
not
we
worry
can do.
about the DRE coming down and saying, "Hey, you're practicing real estate without a license." You're like, "No, I'm a licensed agent."
Right.
What's the penalty for practicing real estate?
$2,500 per infraction.
This one will take. How many infractions before you go to jail?
In this state, probably never.
Exactly right. So I got a buddy of mine.
I can build that into my cost of acquisition.
There you go, man. Yeah. So
You're insured.
I got a buddy of mine that got his hand slapped by the DRE. I mean, let's just talk about this. Pulling down $20,000, $25,000 assignment fees at a time, just crushing it. He's down in the Fresno market, just doing tons of volume. He's closing anywhere between 5 and 7 properties a month, making really, really good money. He's hitting the high-end market.
What's the percentage